Your favorite memory with the national team so far?
Each day was beautiful. I need to tell you, even those days with worries and fights within myself. Do I need to change something drastically or move out of the path I've decided to follow just to please someone in India to win few hearts instead of 100 million of hearts if I succeed in this way?
You also recently put out a plea to the ISL coaches, and I just saw it yesterday, I think, on your Instagram and on your Twitter, where you asked the ISL coaches to support the national team so that they can practice more together. What has been the response to that? How's your relationship with ISL coaches? Is that something that you can just text a Manolo Marquez, a Des Buckingham, a Juan Ferrando, an Owen Coyle and say, guys, give me your players. I need the best players available for the longest period of time so that they can practice together, so that they can play the King's Cup, the Merdeka Cup, and then the Asia Games and whatever else that comes forward.
Listen, I don't expect that any of them will not let the player for the senior national team. To be clear, I sent my open letter, especially at this moment, because of Clifford, who is young, talented Indian coach, and we don't have many. Okay, let's see. So we are giving Clifford, after he won the Super Cup with Orissa, we are giving him wonderful chance to go with a talented team and some of my senior national team players to under 23 qualifiers. Are we going to sacrifice him in such a way, in a disturbing way, not giving him the best possible players there? I gave him some very important players which I was thinking to use at the King's Cup. And I said, okay, I will not give you only Jigson and Akash because they are starting 11 players. Okay, and we cannot push these, which are starting 11 players in the senior national team, to lower age under 23. But another 7, 8, take it. They need to be with you. So what we're going to do now, we're not going to release these players to prepare well and to do well and represent India. Are you telling me that? The coaches, they need to think different because sacrificing one of their colleagues who were successful at the last tournament of the last season of club season in India, and that's not the way to treat and behave against your colleague. Let's not be selfish, because as a national team we don't have many games. Mostly we can get 10 games which FIFA window is allowing us. We have special circumstance in India that season is played in such a short way, so we get more time there. We can have more exposure. I don't agree also, I need to tell you, to have one under 17 team or one under 19 team having exposure for 12 months. No, these boys, they need to compete. They need to play structured football. They need to be part of the club structure. And then they need to be chosen to represent the national team. But going to the major tournament, that needs to be priority for everyone in India. And the players need to be released there. That's how I see it. If you want to do success, because don't forget this, ISL, and we can measure that easily. Let's see how much performance of our players added an extra value to their global market, and how much the national team. It's enormous difference, my dear. Certain things change very positively in Indian football in the last few years, because you can clearly see that the transfer market is becoming alive, that some important amounts of money are paid to those clubs who are opening the door to young players and backing them up. You see how much Akash was paid, how much Anwar Ali was paid, and some others. And this is helping the clubs which are reasonable and working with the young players and opening the door to them and backing them up. And now, how much national team added the value to these players, and how much benefited those clubs who sold these players because these players were part of the national team and competing at the international level? Can we measure that? That's how national team is helping those coaches and those clubs, because their salaries are coming out of these transfer fees also. You see?
Yeah.
So there are many, many things which some regular follower is not thinking about when we speak about advantages, disadvantages. You know, head coach job, less or more, is the same, you know. And I support all my colleagues. I have wonderful relation with most of them. Some of them are great talkers. You know, I have regular communication with Ivan from Kerala, with Manolo, with Sergio before, and now I will have with Gombau. You know, with even Mr. Abbas. At some point, he was angry at me for some of my comments, but I'm sincere. I cannot tell you I like something if I don't like what I see. You know, and that's. But I respect him so much for his achievements, for whatever he's done in Indian football, and Mohun Bagan, you know, and Juan Ferran, you know. I'm trying to provide to them all the documents we have about the players. They received from me now, from the last camp, all the information about the test results, psychological profiles of the players. I will give them everything with what could help them in their work, because I know how much it means to me also. That's also from Mumbai. But we should stop behaving selfishly, you know. And what's the point of having clubs if we are not working in the favor of creating a great national team? Can you tell me?
Yeah, that's true.
It's simple as that. No reason for clubs to exist then. The club structure is there to
Yeah.
make the great national team. That's the point of football. You know, what's the biggest stage of football in the world? It's a World Cup.
Yeah.
It's not a club competition. It's a World Cup. Where
Yeah.
is the biggest revenue coming? It's a World Cup. It's not Champions League. It's a World Cup. And who wants to be there? The best ones, the biggest ones. We need to go there. We need to think wide. We need to look at the wider picture. And now when the World Cup is giving opportunity for Asia to have 8, possible 9 countries participating there, why not to push? Why not to give every opportunity we can to the national team to try to do so, to surprise the world?
Yeah.
So if we don't succeed, at least we can say we tried everything. We tried everything. You know, we tried. We gave our best.
Fair
That's
point.
what I'm saying. No more than that.
But it's good to see, Igor, that there's backing from the government and AFF in terms of India now being allowed to go to the Asian Games. You had put out an emotional appeal as well, so that the team is allowed to play there. What is your minimum expectation from the Asian Games, the Asian Cup that is to come, and of course the World Cup qualifiers, where we're going to be facing some, stiff opposition currently with the way the things stand?
Listen, the most important thing, as I told you, is the World Cup. So, and everyone knows what I've written, what I sent in the written form, and what I said so many times. Minimum 2 weeks prior to the first game, when we play Kuwait, is necessary to prepare well, because the most difficult 2 games are at the opening of the new qualifier cycle. So we are playing Kuwait away, and then we back and we're gonna face Qatar 2 days later. So between these 2 games, we won't have any time to do any serious work. We can only uh, recover the players who will represent India in Kuwait in a very difficult game against the team we could clearly see that we can play against. But it's going to be a different game. Believe me, it will be their pitch, their crowd. It will be so much pressure, and we are still not good in away games. That's the point. You know, we are having a great run, enjoying great run at home. But then imagine if we are not given enough time to prepare for a away game against Kuwait, which is a direct fight for the second position in the group. That game is
Correct.
decisive. Do you
Yeah.
expect us to do well after not being with the players for more than 2 months and going there 2 days prior to the game? Are we realistic? Are we going to miss this opportunity now when we proved that we can dominate Qatar in each aspect of the game? Are we going to miss this opportunity? Then someone will call us crazy. And it's not much.
Yeah.
You know, if we have FIFA window which is allowing us 4 days prior to the game for players to be released. So I'm asking another 10 extra days to prepare in the best possible way, because I don't need to. I have full trust in the coaches in ISL clubs that they obtained a great pre-season with the boys. They are playing Durand Cup now. They will have enough competitive games in their legs. It's not high-intensity football, but we can rebuild that in a 2-week time, which I'm requesting. And I wouldn't like to miss this opportunity. And I'm telling you now, if this is not given, I will not be there. I will leave my position. Simple as that. And that's written. It's been sent, written in a written form there. And we have a meeting, I think tomorrow, in a few days' times, when ISL coaches are available. I don't mind. I'm fighting for the future Indian coach also who will come here to have better understanding, better opportunity, and more chance of succeeding. I'm not fighting for myself anymore. Since I'm here, I'm fighting for the better future of Indian football. Speaking clearly, talking about the problems and giving solutions. I'm not speaking about problems with not providing solutions. I always provide solutions. But for many years, nobody was listening, nobody was trusting that. Then I was asking myself, why you employed me, people? With my CV, with my achievements in football, and with your situation, you are at the lowest level of football in the world. You employ me, you bring me there, and then you are doubting my advices, my visions, or some of them even working against me. You could clearly see I understand how football is functioning. Come on, lobbies and all these things. So I'm kind of sick of that. I want a clear situation if we going forward anywhere.
Currently, the situation is I don't know whether some of these expectations, these demands will be met or not, like you requested all of them. But suppose they are to be met. After the Asian Cup, your tenure runs out. If given a chance, Igor, will you stay? The team's moving in the right direction. A lot of fans would say it might turn out to be the perfect marriage.
Wait, Asian Cup for decisions
Hmm.
about future. You see, and I'm not. I mean, I didn't request this interview. You requested it, but you are asking me, and I'm telling you now. Either we decide now that next 2 years we are together, and if I achieve things which I promise, if I'm given enough time, in the next 2 years, then automatically we can speak about 2 more years, which is just regular and normal thing to do. And reason why I'm behaving like that. First of all, we have very serious people. We had before also, because not many people mention Abhishek Yadav and the ex-president and all people involved in AIFF, because their contribution to our today's success is very important. And I'm not kind of a person who turns his back to anyone who was working with him, And I want to mention these people because they were the ones who started the Indian Aero program, which gave the India the most beautiful young talented players we've seen in the last couple of decades. Is that true? So who started that? Ex-AIFF. Okay, let's give credit to them. Okay. Who is now part of the senior national team? Indian Aero boys from the 2017 World Cup, supported by Gurpreet, Sandesh, Sunil, and few more senior players. But they are our core strength. So I'm not the one who developed them. Some other people, some Indian people with a vision and good football knowledge worked on that. And now we have wonderful people also. You could clearly see that our president, who was ex-player, goalkeeper with the national team, player of Mohun Bagan, that
Yeah.
he's so passionate about what needs to be done. And now I'm passionate again because I see someone who is working for Indian football on a daily basis. On a daily basis, you can clearly see everywhere how much he travels, how much he supports, how much he works on development programs, opening academies here, there, he's everywhere. Shaji also, everywhere. Okay, so we have
Yeah.
people who want to achieve things, but don't forget, I was the only one exposed in a negative way for the last 4 years. Okay, I was the only one. And now when our success is visible, when we came to a point that my work is recognized, and it's been proven that our national team can be successful only when time is given, good time is given for us to work together. Are we going to adopt that again and trade about we give you 7 days or 10 days or we cannot give you 4 weeks or we no. I said bare minimum preparation for the national team for Asian Cup is 4 weeks. Uzbekistan is having 6. Okay. Uzbekistan is having 6 weeks times because they have a break in the competition. They are colder country. So their competition will stop end of November. Their coach will take the team to Antalya or Qatar or somewhere. But they will have 6 weeks. Do you expect us to win against Uzbekistan or get the good result if we have more than 2 weeks less preparation time than them? No, I'm telling you now, not possible. So I'm not requesting 6 weeks. 6 weeks would be ideal. I'm requesting a bare minimum needed for us to prepare well for 3 very serious opponents we're going to face at the Asian Cup. But prior to that, more important thing, how we enter World Cup qualifiers. Are we going to close the door of the World Cup qualifiers at the opening 2 games for us for the future, to lose the dream flying around us? Or are we going to do everything necessary to keep the dream alive? Now it's the time. So let's decide. I have nothing against any decision, don't get me wrong.
No, sure. Yeah.
And that's why I said, either this way or separate ways. Simple as that. I'll not sacrifice myself anymore.
And you're not alone in this, Igor, because obviously there's a coaching staff that's backing your vision in this. Like you said, AIFF has been supportive in terms of giving you what you need, and they have certain other expectations that you'd like to meet together as a national team. There's also seniors like Gurpreet and Sandesh and Sunil Shetty who are a part of this vision that you are taking forward into the World Cup qualifiers. What is your relationship like with these guys? Do you discuss these points with them? What do they have to offer when you come up with certain ideas? What do they say to you?
I discuss everything with my players, especially with these 3 senior ones you mentioned. Even when I'm making my decision about the team, I invite them to hear their opinion. You can think about it whatever you like, but that's my modus operandi. Because I trust my players, I have a strong faith. There is a reason why I've chosen Gurpreet, Sandesh, and Sunil to be core part of this team as a senior players, because they are proper role models upon everything about football. The way they live, the way they commit, the way they take care of others around them. Because you have different kind of leaders in life, not only in football. Many leaders can be negative. I don't need such. I have only positive leaders in our team. And the respect we need to have mutually can be there only if we speak, if we open up, if we trust each other. And these boys trusted our process from the very first day, because when we were going through very difficult times, they were there first in the war, fighting for the country and for the result, which at a certain point kept me also on the job. But with the rest of the team, 3 of them couldn't do nothing alone, but they helped a lot.
Yeah.
So, and we developed fantastic relationship amongst us, and it's visible and it's clear on the pitch also how that bond is created, how strong that bond is. And let's not forget, you are BFC fan, no? And you are fan of Sunil. So let's speak about Sunil at the club level and national team level last 4 years. How huge difference that is. Was BFC working in our favor, or we as a national team working in BFC favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Udanta, same. Ashik, same. Sahal, same. Anwar, Akash, Roshan, Nikhil Pujari. Who could see Nikhil Pujari playing as a right fullback? You tell me. When I spoke to him about that, and with Manolo, at the beginning of last season of ISL, at the beginning, we met in Kolkata, they were in Kolkata, I sat down with Manolo and I told him clearly, Manolo, if you back up Nikhil as right fullback, I see him as a first option choice for me with the national team. Okay, these are the things why I'm the head coach, and others are not, or they cannot understand what I'm doing, because I see things, I feel things, I can feel what needs to be done or changed within the national team to make it stronger, to give us more opportunity to win. And it's Chante. Oh my God, Chante.
I was
Amazing.
going to ask you actually, Igor, because who are some of the youngsters that have really stood out in your tenure? I mean, you mentioned Changti, you mentioned what you did with Nikhil Pujari. Those who, youngsters who've improved the most physically, tactically, emotionally. Who would you rank amongst your five or six in your list?
There are two which needs to be mentioned. These two are Anwar and Jackson, definitely,
Okay.
from the youngest ones. Okay. Then you have Akash. He still needs to work on his positioning because it's still not often as before. People getting behind him too easy because he relies on his speed too much. But he needs to understand at the international level that all the wingers are at least quick as him or quicker than him. You know, in ISL he can kind of ignore that player behind him because he knows that he's quicker. He will get there. But at the international level is different. If you leave him in better position so he can run behind you, you will not have good position of chasing him anymore. He needs to work up on this positional thing. Uh, Others, Suresh, my God, what a boy! But I have one sad thought and about Amarjit, because he was the one who opened the door for all these youngsters in the national team. You see, and same again, no one could imagine that he would be the first one from the generation starting for the national team like he did in the King's Cup in Thailand in 2019. And I could clearly see in the training session that the football he can provide on the pitch is exactly what one coach needs from a defensive midfielder. You know,
Yeah.
brave, aggressive, fearless, uh, playing simple, good accuracy in passing. Most of his passes are progressive, very supportive to attacking midfielders in front of him, covering positions, never letting go the main position
Yeah.
in the central area. Fantastic. And then he got broken arm and hand, and he nearly disappeared. And I'm very happy now to see him coming
Came back.
back. And I hope Clifford, and I spoke to Clifford about him. I want him to give him amazing opportunity now to lead the team there, to do his best for the nation. And I hope I will bring him back through Asian Games. I hope, you know, to bring him back to
Yeah.
very competitive football where he was at the beginning, because that boy deserves that.
And speaking of the one youngster everyone speaks about quite a lot in Indian football, that's obviously Sunil Shetty. I'm a big fan. Everybody is a Sunil Shetty fan in India. What is so special about him? I mean, he's 39 now. He's just turned 39. He's looking good for a few more years. Have you spoken with him?
Listen, everybody is his fan, and everybody is asking when he's going to leave. What after him? Like
I'm not
four,
asking that. I'm just saying, how many years do you think he has in him?
4 years, people just looking for his replacement, and in the meantime, we were doing everything to make him fitter and stronger, because it's
Yeah.
obvious by the numbers, by the stats, by the number of sprints, by the size of high intensity runs he's making, by the capacity of playing 120 minutes in 3 days, 2 games of 120 minutes high press football. He's playing the best football of his life. His body is body of 28, 29-year-old. We measured that. So I'm absolutely relaxed about him, and he's what kind of a person he is. That's something amazing, you know. And we need him with us. We need him until we prepare others to be ready, to jump in. That's why we are trying and changing and giving opportunities to Manuel, to Rahim now. I hope to Siva if he bounce back to good form in Duran Cup, because that injury last season stopped him and took him out of form drastically. People couldn't see that, but the way he played in the ISL, and then after that small minor injury, he never came back. He never came back. Siva needs to learn to take care of his body, of his body fat and all that, and it's a long way ahead of him. Half of the season doesn't mean you are a good player. Football is about proving yourself on a daily basis.
Okay, here's a quick one for you. And now we're almost coming to an end to this now. Igor, I've taken a lot of your time, but I just thought
Don't
before
stop,
I get to the, sorry?
don't stop it.
No. I wanted to know, there's a segment on my show which I do, which is called Those 70 Minutes, Wo 70 Minute as we call it in Hindi. Which is basically looking back at a particular game that you thought you changed through a halftime team talk or a substitution. Which one comes to mind? Can you tell me a little bit in detail about a particular game that comes to mind where you thought things are not quite going to plan, but I'll fix this or I'll say something to them and maybe think they can spark into life?
You mean within India?
Yeah, for the Indian national team. Yeah.
I always go back to
Wow.
that game against Oman.
The
First,
Oman game in Guwahati.
yes.
I remember being there, and I remember when that little mistake happened from Rahul Beke in I think the 82nd minute or something like that of the game, and we were dominating them throughout up until then. Do you remember that?
I remember each second of that game. Each second. And I remember that exactly the points I was bringing attention to and mentioning to our boys, and I will not name anyone particularly like you did, was the way we conceded goals. And it's not about at the final line who was not there, where the action started, because I always say, people sometimes say Sunil saved coach. No, the team saved the coach because Sunil is there to score, but someone needs to bring that ball there. Someone needs to work really hard to make sure that within 5, 6 or 16 or 76 passes we get there in the final third and provide good cross or good back pass to Sunil so he can score. He's enjoying the fame, but the team is working for that. The coach is preparing that. And what I'm proud of within this team, that if you go back and look our goals, you can clearly see the patterns we are using how to score the goals. And it's working. But there is still many more which needs to come and be done. To have various options how to get there. But those are the most simple one with the time provided how to do well and how to move well and how to understand each other very well on the pitch. How to recognize the capacity of your teammates, what they are capable of. There was one wonderful thought, expression from, I think Thierry Henry was speaking when he was a young player and Arsène Wenger trying to explain to him his positional play. And he said to me, you cannot make your positional play every time the same. When Ljungberg has the ball, when Bergkamp has the ball, and when, another player has the ball, Vieira. Because they are all different players. When Freddy Ljungberg is running with the ball, then you need to know that he is not looking where are you. And then you need to come closer there. You cannot run in behind because he's not that kind of player who will make the ball through or make pass behind. Yeah, Dennis can do that. Whenever Dennis receives the ball, you need to make run in behind defenders because that ball will come. Yeah. So you need to create this bond where the players will get to know each other habits, each other qualities, the main strengths, the main weaknesses. So when you find that, then you will know how to defend your teammate and how to get the best out of him. And we are in a good way achieving those things, great understanding amongst the players, and especially because we created a very strong bond and we developed one group of players, which is not short, it's 35 players, who perfectly understand what to expect when they are with the national team. So we have for each position minimum of 3 players at the moment, plus pool of youngsters which we follow, which need to prove at the ISL at the moment or I League, continuous performance quality to be invited for the national team camp. You see, in the last 4 years, it was, I would say, easy to get the chance playing for the national team. That's not the case anymore. So I would kindly ask everyone who is sending me so many messages there and recommending the players, don't do that, please.
Yeah.
Don't do that, because one good game or one good goal, something like that, it's not an invitation for the national team. It needs to be 2 good seasons, consecutive seasons. That's invitation for the national team. It's not, one season is not enough anymore, not to say 1 game or 2 games.
All the other footballers can comment on my YouTube video over here, this interview with Igor, and then you can send your links to your videos, and maybe Igor, when he's got a lot of free time, traveling to different places in Asia, can click on it and say if you've got some quality. That's fair. You spoke about the Oman game, and I remember that game very distinctly. And I remember having a chat with you during our World Cup broadcast as well. And you said we got tired around the 80th minute. Is it satisfying now, Igor, when you see the result against a side like Kuwait, where we take them to 120 minutes, and the moment the penalties happen, I look at you on camera, and I know this guy knows we're winning this game because we managed to stretch them that far. Is that the improvement you've seen, that the fitness levels, the endurance levels have increased that much?
Listen, Oman game was not muscle fatigue. It was a mind fatigue. It was a bad habit which was there within Indian football prior to me arriving there. Because you go back and watch all the games, and you could clearly see India defending and defending and defending, and not getting out of the box and kicking the balls out and falling on the knees and having cramps. And my God. But this game against Oman, we absolutely controlled. And then we went down to bad old habits of having fear winning the game. And that was something I didn't have enough time to change. You see, because that was beginning of our work. When it comes to a point, even I will tell you, let's not forget, it's not only about small football countries making such mistakes. We could clearly see Croatia doing same mistake against Belgium in the World Cup in the group stage now. One poor decision by the goalkeeper Livakovic, not coming out for the cross, disturbed our back 4 line totally, and we were just sitting in the box and waiting to be knocked down. And thanks God Lukaku didn't use one of these 3-4 wonderful chances. Croatia wouldn't come out of the group. So it's not about small team, big team. It happens at the biggest stage. But to become a solid and good performing team, you need to learn things. The best way of defending is attacking. Keeping the opponent in front of their goal. Fighting for the ball in the middle of the pitch. Not getting back, playing zonal and bringing the strongest part of the opposite team near to your box, where you cannot react. You can make fouls in the free zone, you can allow them to cross the ball, and then it's difficult to defend in the box. So it's better to move the lines up and control the game and stop the things happening in the middle or in the final third in front of the opposite goal. That's how I see football, And once you bounce back, once you go back to defending into zonal areas in front of your goalkeeper, just forget it. It's time. It's just time about when you're going to concede. And that's what happened with us against Oman. We went too deep back. We didn't respect what was trained and said. We allowed one of their main players, key players for the key balls providing, to stay free and just put the nice ball behind our back 4. We didn't follow the runner. Then we didn't come out on time. Then, 6 consecutive mistakes caused first goal. against us in Oman. And then another 5 consecutive mistakes brought the second goal at the late stages of the game. And that's it. Mental fatigue and bad habits.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to more pleasant things. Your favorite memory with the national team so far?
Each day was beautiful. I need to tell you, even those days with worries and fights within myself. Do I need to change something drastically or move out of the path I've decided to follow just to please someone in India to win few hearts instead of 100 million of hearts if I succeed in this way? So I was very consistent and strong in what needs to be done, not changing decisions, even when the criticism went across the line too far, too far. It couldn't be done in a different way, you know, couldn't. And I need to say now thanks again to our new president and all the guys there, you know, for providing us so many games in June, July. It was really important. It was really important. I
Yeah.
was hoping it will happen one day because I got tired with so many exposures, going abroad, playing away, not getting more than 3 days preparation time and suffering within referees' decisions. And you don't just stand the chance to win the game. Before the game, you are defeated, you know. So it's kind of a depressing for the players. It's for me, it's easy to cope with such things, but then working again and again on the mindset, because how to change the mindset if you are defeated all the time against higher ranked opponents? It's becoming a bad habit, you know. But playing at home friendly games, giving us opportunity to win anyone in Asia. Don't get me wrong. With all due respect to Qatar, to South Korea, to Japan, I will tell you where we're going to bring them. Okay. Bring me Qatar to Manipur. Bring me Qatar to Kerala. We're going to show them what it takes to beat India. You are Asian champion and we
Love
respect
it.
that. But I will make it difficult for you first to get there. You will not love it. You will not love it. You will not feel comfortable. You will not feel safe in a way. You're going to go through this game. These are the things we need to think about now. You know, World Cup qualifiers are there. We shouldn't think about making these teams comfortable coming over here, you know, and pleasant. No, no, no. It needs to be very unpleasant trip for them. Very, very unpleasant. In a way that we're going to be a great host. Very warm, very kind, you know. But the place we're going to choose to play against, oh my God, that needs to be explosion, you know.
I love it.
Needs to be a place with a passion. That needs to be a place with a love for Indian flag. That needs to be a place where we're going to such a support, not having 12 players on the stands. 12th, 13th,
Yeah.
14th, 15th, and so on, you know. So the opposite
Yeah.
team needs to feel like they're playing against 22 guys there, not against 11.
Let's play a quick rapid fire to see how much you remember from your national team days, and let's see if you have some tough choices to make. Which one will you pick? Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
0-0 draw versus Qatar or the SAF Cup 2023 final win versus Kuwait? What would you pick if given a choice once again to coach?